What is up, guys? Derek Wilcox here for Wilcox Strength Incorporated. Team Power Rack Strength, and always wearing into advanced designs gear. This is a look into the next block after the weightlifting meet, where I went into, check this out, 5x10s with 1 minute rest. Now, I'm not aiming to hit super high weights on these. As you can see, I'm doing incline press. But I've got a minute rest in between sets, and I'm trying to move these weights as fast as I can. We know from a lot of research that one of the primary stimuli for hypertrophy is tension, and especially eccentric load on a muscle. It's not necessarily how long that load lasts, it is the peak intensity or peak tension from the eccentric force on the exercises. So I'm not only trying to press these upward as fast as I can, I'm also taking this light weight and accelerating it downward so I can increase that eccentric force. And by doing this with lighter weights, I'm hoping to eliminate some fatigue, but I'm kind of generating my own fatigue by working so hard with these lighter weights. Gauging from the soreness and the apparent hypertrophy, we don't know if it's myofibrillar or sarcoplasmic at this point, which is basically the difference between tissue development and fluid development that's just being retained in the muscle. It seemed to be working pretty well, and I really had a lot of fun doing it with short rest periods aside from being out of breath constantly. The pumps were crazy, and I was able to get all this volume done relatively quickly as well. So if you're ever in a time pinch, this is a decent way to do it. On squats and deadlifts, instead of having 3 lifts on my upper body days, I could only stand to even think about doing 2 with 5x10s on short rest. As you can see on the squats, I'm taking a pretty normal stance for me. I still squat high bar like this just so I can stay more upright, pushing the knees out, and I'm trying to keep a little bit of specificity in my squat technique so that it hopefully carries over with specific hypertrophy adaptations toward my competition squat, which will be much wider but using similar muscles. Now, sumo deadlifts, I was really surprised at how much this took out of me. The back pump I got on these was intense. As you can see, I was leaning back at the end of that set. And you can also see the accelerometer sensor, the little green light on my forearm. I'm still tracking all the velocities that I can all the way through November for the WPO meet. Hopefully going to turn that into a big case study that's never been done before that I can think of anyway. If you know of any case studies that have been done like this for half a year or so going into a big competition, hopefully with a world record lift at the end of it, just let me know. I'd love to hear about it. But I was not intending for these deadlifts to be so hard, but I could barely stand up at the end of them. 5x10 minute rest sumo deadlift. It was, I think, only 275 or so, but I got through it. I was getting ready for the Highland Games that were following this week. This is the only time I ever practiced in the previous year before this Highland Games coming up. And it was really just to see if I could throw these things in the right direction and try and remember what the right techniques were. Sheaf toss is one of the more unique events in the Highland Games, but it's actually my favorite. I'm sure it's just because I was a little bit better at it than other events. But being a short guy, I was never good at weight over bar or any of the height events except for this one. So it was kind of fun. I think it helps to be strong here and have spent a lot of time with a shovel or a pitchfork in your hands when you're growing up. The idea is trying to get a little eccentric load and exploding upward, very similar to a weightlifting movement, even though you've got a pitchfork in your hand. So a lot of those weightlifting characteristics really carry over very well. Now, one of the most popular events from Highland Games is the 56-pound weight over bar event, and being 5'7", I'm not very good at it, but hopefully that'll change over time. So until next week, you guys take care and stay strong.